Many are familiar with the story of the rich young ruler. And I spent time studying and just trying to understand what was going on. And I saw another perspective from the Gospel of Mark. It said that actually Jesus was about to set out on a journey. Jesus was actually prepared. So visualizing somebody that's actually, they have their stuff ready. They're actually about to go forth somewhere. They actually have expectations. They know what they're going to be doing. They're prepared. And as he's actually stepping out, he's going into his way. There's like a distant figure. He's actually pretty distant, but he's coming closer to him. And there's some kind of urgency in his step. He has to be coming even faster and faster, because the gospel said that he ran to him. So picturing this guy's running towards him. He's running. His feet are picking up, and his breath is picking up. I have no idea what he did to get to this point. I don't even know how he knew where Jesus was. So you picture somebody did his research, tracking, tracing, planning, plotting. He actually must have asked somebody, but he had to find out where Jesus was. So this would be the equivalent of a seeker. This is a seeker. He wants to know where Jesus is because there's something that is of supreme importance in his life that he has to have answered immediately. And the gospel said he runs up to him. He runs up to him, and this guy is out of breath. His feet been traveling for so long, and he comes and he kneels. He's in a submitted state of worship. In Hebrew they call that barak, prayer. That's to kneel. But he's in a submitted state. So not only is he in a state of emergency, he comes down now in a submitted state of worship towards him and kneeling. And then he goes into praise. And he says, "Good master." So then he honors him with his lips after he goes through this form of worship. And my mind is digging into this thing, and I'm saying, what was really on this guy's mind? And anybody who comes running at you with this kind of state of urgency, like, Jesus, I had to get to you, and then he kneels in front of you. He kneels right in front of you, and then he praises you before he gets to his real request. You would expect somebody would have some kind of supreme state of urgency for maybe a loved one who died, or maybe for his own personal sin that he wants to have absolved. He wants to really get this thing off of him. He wants to seek his mercy, or maybe he wants to just seek forgiveness for something he did. The question he asks, "What must I do, good master, to inherit eternal life?" And it hit me. I said, this guy is trying to find out what can solve his problem, and then he can go off on his way. And Jesus knew exactly what his problem was. So Jesus goes right to the core of the problem, and he, paraphrasing, he says, "You lack one thing. I need you to do this. Since you're so into works, I'll tell you to do something. But what I want you to do is I want you to follow me and leave all your stuff behind." And that was his problem. He wanted to get a quick fix and then go on his way. Jesus said, "No, I'll give you a quick fix, but you have to stick with me to get it." So for the skeptic, the atheist, the seeker, the agnostic, everybody that's coming, running after Jesus, they're trying to find something to gain first. Just like the rich young ruler was trying to find. They want to find, what's the thing that I can find from him that will make my life better? Or maybe some people just want to find him so they can just attack Christianity. And they invest so much time seeking the Bible, seeking the Word, and pretty much just striving so much to get something from him, when Christianity does not present that message. And the message of Christianity is not that you come to him to gain first. You come to him to lose first, to gain. And many people sought him for something else. And it took me to a book called Ministry of Healing. In the first chapter, it showed what was the mindset of everybody else that was chasing after Jesus. It says that his voice was the first sound that many have ever heard. His name the first word that many have ever uttered. His face, the first they had ever looked upon. Why should they not love Jesus and sound his praise? You know, the rich young ruler had this education system that was not really God's education. Satan's education, it's really simple. It just means that I won't believe anything unless you can show me first. The rich young ruler's education that he received was that I will not follow you till you can answer all my questions, and that you can prove to me what the way is. When God's education says, I already told you, because you called me good master. And I said, there's none good but God. Do you know the implications of what you're saying? Because if you're talking to God here, you should know that I am trustworthy. So he couldn't handle that. And many people do that in their walk, whether outside of Christianity or inside. If you call him good master, you should know if he speaks, you don't have to wait to see it to do it. If God says it, you have to do it. I think that's it.